Hello and welcome to episode 45 of the Nourish and Strengthen podcast. I am Trainer Lindsay. I am your host, and I'm so excited to have you guys here today. Today, we're talking about something that is so important, but also something that I see women struggling with and neglecting all the time, and that is rest and recovery. I know it's not sexy, and I know that it is so hard for us to prioritize this. Actually, it's never been hard for me. I'm like, a rest day? Sure, I'll take it. But I know a lot of people are like, I can't possibly rest. I can't take this many recovery days. And they feel like it's setting them back from reaching their goals. Okay. So, especially as we age, you guys, recovery gets even more and more important than it was back when we were 25, 30, even 35, right? As we get closer to menopause, and get into perimenopause, our sex hormones begin to drop off, which has a direct correlation to our body's ability to manage stress. And this is why pushing harder and harder and harder as we age and as we get over 40 doesn't have the same outcomes as it did when we were 20, 25 to 30. It's so common when we have a big fitness goal to want to like grind, right? No days off, go all in, that kind of attitude. And rest and recovery can feel like it's taking you in the opposite direction. So today I want to talk to you about why recovery and rest is actually helping you move in the right direction and getting you closer to your goals instead of farther away from them. Okay, so let's go ahead and just jump right in. Do you guys think, I have a question for you, and I want you to think about this. Do you think that you actually get stronger during your workouts? Do you think that? You actually don't. You get stronger during the recovery and your sleep and your rest days, okay? So rest days can be hard, and we always have clients that are trying to get some sort of workout in on their rest days. They have a really hard time taking a complete rest day, but I'm going to give you guys 4 reasons, okay? Is it 4? Yeah, 4 reasons here why you need rest days, okay? First one is muscle recovery. This one is pretty obvious, right? But it can still be so hard to wrap your head around, okay? People want to do their lifting, their metabolic type work, their cardio, and they don't prioritize enough days of complete rest. Now, when I say complete rest, you can walk. Okay, walking is something you can do every day. It does not cause muscular damage. It does not cause any stress on our energy systems and our nervous system. Walking is fantastic any time of the day or any day, all the time. Okay. So I'm talking about actual lifting, more intense cardio, things like that. Okay. So during your lifting workouts, you're actually creating microscopic tears in the muscle fibers that actually need to heal in order for you to get stronger. Okay, I'm going to use an analogy here. So we're going to take in the analogy of a brick wall. Okay, imagine there's brick wall builders and they're out there building a brick wall. All right. Let's say you have this brick wall about halfway built up. And then I want you to think about when you go to lift weights, it's like you're knocking down the wall a bit. Okay. And it's during that recovery and those rest days that the builders come back in and they build that wall back up to where it was, plus a little bit higher. Right? Then you come back in, you lift weights, you knock down a little bit of the brick wall, the builders come back in, they build that wall back up to where it was, plus a little bit higher. Okay. If you're not recovering, you're going to keep on knocking that brick wall down, knocking it down without giving it time to build back up and build back up taller and stronger. Okay. Also, not having enough rest days is going to, it's having rest days, having rest days will reduce your risk of injury. Okay. Constantly pushing your body to its limits and pushing yourself hard and close to failure without recovery is literally a recipe for injury. You guys, that's how you're going to get injured. And that 100% will set you back from your goals. Okay. So having that built-in recovery and those rest days will prevent you having to take a longer amount of time off later. Okay. Reason number 2, rest days are so crucial, is the psychological and the lifestyle benefit. That feeling that you can't ever miss a workout and having that lack of flexibility when you don't have rest days is going to lead you to burnout. Okay. I know I used to lift back in my other life. I used to lift 6 days a week. Okay. I would lift 6 days a week, had only 1 day off for rest and recovery. And it was hard because when I traveled, I felt like I had to get in my workouts. When I had a really stressful, busy week, I felt like I still had to get in my workouts. Now I lift only 4 days a week, and it is so easy to work those lifting sessions around my life. If I have a few days during my week that are super busy, I make those my rest days. If I'm traveling over a long weekend, I get my lifting in before I leave so that I can just have a trip and enjoy it and not have to feel like, where's the hotel gym or where's the local gym? It's so much easier to manage 4 days a week of lifting. Okay. If I was still trying to lift those 6 days a week, I would get resentful, honestly, because my life right now is super busy and my life does not revolve around my workouts like it kind of used to. It kind of used to when I was competing and like really heavily into that part of the industry. It was a big priority in my life. My life has changed. That's not my focus anymore. Just like it, I would assume it's not your guys' focus either, like getting into the gym every single day, right? It can be really, really hard if you don't have enough rest days. And if you feel like you can't do it, you're going to feel like a failure. More rest days, easier to fit this into your life, the more you're going to feel successful, okay? And that feeling of success is huge for keeping you on track and keeping you going. That's one thing, little tangent. That's one thing that we really focus on with our clients is meeting our clients where they're at. What are they currently doing now? Can we push you a little bit harder? Not a lot of it, just a little bit so that you can feel like you're making progress and still feel like you're successful. If you are, for example, if you're not lifting at all right now and we gave you a program that was 6 days a week, like that would feel like too much. You'd feel like a failure. Even if you were able to get in 3 or 4 days a week, you'd feel like a failure because you're not getting in everything. So it's so much better to have a more moderate approach and a moderate plan that you can actually accomplish and feel successful. That feeling of success is really, really key for the psychological part of this whole fitness journey, right? Okay. Reason number 3 is better stress management. Guys, I know that you might think that the gym is your stress relief. I hear it all the time. You say, "Well, I can't not go to the gym when I'm stressed out because that is what makes me feel better." But the reality is that all exercise is a stress on our bodies. Not necessarily I'm not out to say that it's a bad stress on our bodies. It can be good. Of course, there are positives to exercise, lifting, cardio, that kind of thing. But when our bodies are under too much stress, bad things happen. Okay. We get sick, we get injured, our hormones get out of whack, our hunger cues go crazy. It is so, so important to manage our stress. So, here are some times when you might want to cut out your lifting. If you have a really crazy busy week, you might want to consider cutting down from maybe 4 or 5 days of lifting to 3 days of lifting that week. I had a really busy, gosh, I think it was 3 or 4 weeks up until this week. The previous 3 to 4 weeks, I was traveling a ton. When I was in town, I had tons of meetings and appointments, and I only lifted 3 days a week those previous 3 weeks. And I'm fine. Everything is fine. I didn't lose all my muscle. I didn't, there were no negative side effects. Okay. It is so crucial to manage our stress. We have a lot of stress in our lives that we can't control or eliminate, right? And not overtraining is something that we absolutely can control. Okay. I don't ever recommend people lift or do high intensity training 6 days a week. 5 days a week might be okay for some people, but I've really found for women, especially over 40, 4 days a week of lifting is magic. Even 3 days for some people is great. You get to work hard most of the week and have some rest days as well. Okay. You can do some cardio, like I mentioned, on a rest day or two, but I do recommend having 1 or 2 days where you are fully resting, with the exception of walking, possibly some restorative yoga in there. That's going to be really great for managing those stress levels. Okay. And then the last point here is keep in mind that rest days actually help with progress. They help with progress in your lifting routine. So let's clarify here really quick the difference between exercise and actually training, okay? Both are great, all right? Exercise is wonderful and it has a lot of benefits to your heart, to all of the energy systems in your body. There are so many benefits to exercise. But exercise is simply getting out and getting moving, getting some sort of workout in throughout your day. Training is a progressive overload specific training program that is designed for you and your goals that you have for your physique. Okay. A well designed program that is periodized over time, usually, if it's well done, includes plenty of rest and actually facilitates you getting stronger over time instead of weaker. Now you might be thinking like, well, wait, how could me exercising or maybe training on a suboptimal program actually make me get weaker? It 100% can, you guys. So let me tell you about, back when I used to compete and I was lifting 6 days a week, you push hard and you push hard for a shorter period of time, right? But you are pushing so hard that you get to a point where you're not hitting PRs often. You get to a point where you are just exhausted, you're not recovering well, but you continue to show up and push hard. You absolutely can get weaker if you are overtraining and not including enough recovery. Okay. So it's super, super important. It will actually help you get stronger, including that proper recovery. Okay. So if you hit a place in your programming when you feel like your strength has stalled out, a little trick here is to take a full rest week. A full rest week. Yes, I mean a Monday to a Sunday, a full rest week. We're going to talk about the benefits of actually taking that in just a minute. But if you hit a place where you're kind of stalled out, take that full rest week. When you come back, you might be a little more sore. You might feel a tiny bit weaker when you come back. But what's going to happen? You're going to have one step back, possibly, maybe no steps back. And then you're going to have like 10 steps forward. Okay. You're going to continue to get stronger and progressing after that. Okay. Let me make a little note here about rest weeks. Okay. It can be really hard to do, but it is so important to take a full week off of lifting a few times a year. I typically time my rest weeks around my vacation. So if we go on a family vacation, I don't feel like I have to go to the gym every single day. I'll time a rest week around that. But rest weeks when you're just at home can be magical as well. They can help with plateaus in your weight loss and also in your training program. Okay, so if you have a week where you are super stressed, maybe your weight's trending up and you don't want that to happen, take a week off. Magical things happen. Okay, truly. It can be so hard though, you guys. I know it can be hard to rest. I want you to just remind yourself that these rest days are helping you build that brick wall up higher and stronger. And without them, you won't see the optimal results that you could see otherwise. Okay, you guys. So that's just my little note here for you guys this week. As always, let me know what you thought about this episode. I'd love to hear from you on social media. If the way I get this podcast out to others is with ratings and reviews. So if you like listening to me each week, I would love it so much if you gave me a 5-star rating and a review and shared this show with a friend. So that's what I got for you guys today. I will see you guys next week. Have a wonderful week.